Speaking of rings, speaking of feats, speaking of accomplishments, topic number one for us, man. LeBron James. Some people's GOAT, some people's number two. But LeBron James passes Karl Malone for number two on the NBA scoring list. I want to ask you guys, how great is that accomplishment?
Yeah, I mean,
if you don't think it's so, or also if you don't think it's so great, Zay, let me know.
Yeah, so I'll go ahead and start this off, I guess. I mean, a lot of people, you know, they say that they discredit LeBron for his feat of doing this, becoming the second all-time league scorer. He'll end up number one, probably next season or at least in the next 2 seasons. But they justify it by saying that his longevity is the reason. But why is that a negative thing? I think that should be detriment to his success. You know, like he should get praised for his longevity. He's taken his body more seriously than any NBA athlete, or probably any athlete that I've seen in my lifetime. You know, he spends, you know, $1 million a year on just his body. He's eating the right things. He's doing the right things. He's not, you know, he's not a heavy drinker or getting into drugs. You've never seen him in trouble with that. So the way he takes care of his body has allowed him to do this, and this is an amazing feat. He's going to end up number one.
A record. Sorry, BG. A record no one thought could be surpassed. You talking about career? Yeah, you talking about
never will. And if you look at the career assist list, he's top 10 in career assists. I think he's even top 5 now. I want to say, I'm looking at an outdated list. He's top 10 in steals. He's going to end up probably close to top 5 in steals. He's top 10 in 3-pointers made. 3-point field goals made. He'll probably end up top 8, top 7 in that category as well. He's not top 10 in rebounding just for that list. You got some great rebounders. I think he's in the high 30s right now, but he could end up top 20 in rebounding. So when you're putting that all together, and he's not a scorer, and he gets never talked about as being one of the greatest scorers ever, when he's leading the NBA in scoring in age 37 with 30 points per game.
Yeah.
I mean, come on. People, if you don't want him to be the greatest of all time, that's one thing, but stop discrediting him for what he's done. He's one of the top 5 scorers of all time. I mean, you can't go against that fact.
Yeah,
I think it's amazing.
It's totally amazing, and I agree with you. And I like the point that you said, you know, not only just the scoring, because obviously we're talking about, I mean, he's going to surpass, everything continues, he's going to surpass the captain, El Capitan, Kareem as number one. But like you said, all the other categories, bro, he has those. You know, he's top 5, top 10. Only thing he's not top 10 in basically is rebounding. You know, and he's a point guard. If you really think about it, he's been a point guard his entire life. So you don't expect him to be, you know, this crazy rebounder. But if you look at it, somebody else brought this up when he got 30,000. Well, he had 30,000 points, but then I think he got maybe 10,000 assists. Basically, he's 30, 10, and 10,000, 30K, 10K, 10K. It's basically a triple double he has averaged for his career. You know what I mean? And like you said, age 37, my man is leading the NBA in scoring. And if you take away anything about LeBron James, you try to discredit him however you want, the number one thing he has over anyone at this point, as you mentioned, BG, his longevity. It's his longevity. He's done it. He's done it at the highest level for the longest. Okay, he maybe is not at the highest of highs like a Michael Jordan or some of these other people, but he's done it at the highest, basically can be done for the longest.
Another point that I wanted to make too for our listeners as well is he's already scored the most points ever in NBA history when you include regular season and postseason. And play, right. For whatever reason, they only use regular season for this scoring mark. I mean, again, he doesn't get credit for making the playoffs every single year and making deep runs every single year. I think more games nowadays, because they used to have, you know, all series now are 7-game series. Used to be 5-game series, or used to be less teams. Okay. So I can kind of understand that. But another thing I wanted to point out is, and again, when you're talking about comparisons to MJ and this and that, they always talk, well, you know, LeBron came right out of high school. What if those guys would have had more years? LeBron is the youngest player, I think. After he scored like 7K, he was the youngest. I think it might be every 1,000 points. I think he's the youngest player to 1,000, 2,000, 3,000, 4,000, 5,000,
yes,
all the way to 30,000. So he's the youngest player ever to score every plateau 1,000 points. So I mean, that's just, it's crazy to laugh at because people just will still find a reason to not give this man credit for what he's done. And you know, when you bring up the Jordan argument too, people are like, well, Jordan could have got all these stats. Well, Jordan did what his team needed him to do, which was score. He had Pippen. He had Rodman. LeBron's team needs him to do everything. And that's every team he's ever been on. I don't care who his teammates have been. His teams have needed him to score in the 20s, rebound close to 10, and assist close to 10 a game. That's what his teams needed, and he does what his teams need. And his accolades show that.
Zay, I see you researching over there, man. What you got for us? How do you feel about this accomplishment by the LeBron James?
I just want to start off this entire spiel of what I'm about to say by saying that Michael Jordan is the greatest player of all time.
Okay.
But to get to the question, LeBron, hats off to him. Yes, Karl Malone. That's passing Karl Malone was huge. LeBron, he's done it. Yes, I do agree. He's done it for the longest time out of all the players. The only thing that kind of stops me from falling into what you all are saying is that LeBron, like the league has adjusted to LeBron.
That shows greatness.
Yeah, the league has adjusted to LeBron. Yes,
correct.
He's the greatest player of all time. He has the most money that any NBA player has ever made, and he has all the biggest impact any NBA player has ever made. Back then, before the social media era, before guys could build a brand outside of basketball and all that good stuff, you just got sneakers and a basketball, and you just got
newspaper clippings.
Yeah, you just gotta hope that you make it out alive. And that's why I think Michael Jordan still stands above LeBron. And he always will, in my opinion, because of how the game has changed. The game did. Now, I'm not saying that Michael Jordan never got calls, but even with his calls, the league adjusted to Michael Jordan back then. Even with his calls, players were still trying to take his head off.
Yeah.
You see that now, like, when's the last time, you see, Pat Beverly getting into it with LeBron and all that stuff. But it doesn't happen night in and night out like it happened with Jordan. But let me get back to the main question.
I was waiting for that, man, because
I just had to put that little, that liner.
We get it. You're a Chicago basketball fan. Michael Jordan will always be number one in your heart and in your mind. I understand that. I do. I really do, because to me, they're neck and neck. I would probably get an edge to Michael Jordan. I said it before. My favorite players are Michael Jordan, LeBron James, and Allen Iverson. So. And now Michael Jordan was before all those guys as my favorite player. So I understand. I get it.
Oh, yeah. But LeBron passing Karl Malone, that's huge. LeBron, he's definitely, as BG mentioned, he's done it for the longest time. He's taken care of his body. He's done it the right way. All around, as an individual person, I definitely would take, if we were picking out people to finish out careers the best, it would be LeBron. I hope he finishes on top. He could be in the Tom Brady situation where he keeps on going. And really,
you see that dunk he had last night?
Yeah,
against Kevin Love, bro. His face
that is
was
a 37-year-old man. I couldn't even tell you a 37-year-old man I know that until BG turns 37, doing something like that.
Hey, look, when we do those warm-ups with the team, the 2-line warm-ups with our basketball team, I'm in pain after that.
Oh yeah, you saw me that one day.
Drill.
I'm
so look, BG said it, man. You said it. we all said, I mean, the longevity is really his biggest calling card. And the fact that he has devoted himself to his craft, which is a game of basketball. He has $1 million a year on his body, never got in trouble with the law, never blah, blah, blah. Like, he has fully committed to the game. And I mean, I just, and it shows right here clearly. I mean, he's number 2 on the list. Soon enough, he'll be number 1 on the all-time scoring list. And hats off to you. I tip my hat to you, Mr. LeBron James. If you ever want to come on the Coach C NBA show with BG and Zay, we can add you on that title as well. The Coach C NBA show with BG, Zay, and LeBron. We can do that, man. Come holler at us, man.